Welcome to this week's video where I am feeling like I'm a little bit behind in the garden. I'm going to be catching up on the jobs that probably should have been done in March. So if you're a bit behind like me, high five, here we are. I'm also going to be clearing out some clutter that has been lying around in the garden, and I'm going to bring you to the book warehouse with me. We're also going to have a look around the garden so I can show you what's growing, and I'm going to share some exciting plans that is happening in the garden very soon. First job is get the grass cut to assess the damage, because it has gotten, this is probably one of the worst times or worst years that I've had with the grass. So because we had a really wet winter and I was still pottering around the garden and walking on the grass, it means that a lot of the spots in the grass went to mud. We then also had a very wet spring, which meant some areas, not that they flooded, but they just got a little bit too much water. So I did try to put some grass seed down in March and it got washed away. So I'm cutting the grass so that I can find the patches that are really bad, and I'm going to try and repair them. This will also probably be the last cut before the good old no-mow May. I do normally cut the back and leave the front to just grow. Because I'm going to be putting down grass seed, I will probably just leave the grass for the month of May for everything to just kind of grow, hopefully, and repair. So then I can cut it at the end of May and hopefully it's not looking as patchy. I am now clearing out the corners of the garden that the internet does not see, but we all have them. If you watched my declutter video 2 videos back within the house, I was, saying how I just like to hoard things that I could possibly use to make something with. And I'm getting better at clearing them out. I counted 4 wood pallets. 4. And a lot of them had been there for the past 2 years, not even a year. So I was like, no, they need to go to the recycle centre. Just random bits of clutter and wood that I kind of hang on to, but I have no space to hang on to, and they end up just looking unsightly. And there's probably some mice living in here as well. So I decided to just clear away everything, especially stuff that's been here a while. Use it or lose it, baby. This area is still a little bit cluttered, but I managed to clear out as much as I can, but it does need a good deep clean. Hello, we're on the tiny mic. I'm not sure if it's going to work. I'm on my phone, so I need to pause being in the garden today. I've got my little boiled egg. How cute is he? His head is broken. Actually, he's very chipped. He's had many a fall. Pause in the garden today because we're going over to the warehouse. Elena is going to be there, and I think Elena and Gabby are going to be there from our brand, and we're going to sign all of the books. So I think there's 2,000 copies to sign today, and then that's it. That's all the signed copies. We plan to kind of visit a couple of bookshops, but just for the guaranteed ones. That is it, baby. That is it. So I need to get this into me, and then the warehouse isn't too far. It's like half an hour away. So these poor cats are going to be like, girl, you need to get home to make us our lunch or dinner. Anyway, enough waffling. I need to eat and go. Now, my behind the scenes footage of my day in the warehouse is a bit random, but I thought I would just leave it in here if you wanted to have a little bit of the behind the scenes and how delirious we got with the tiredness. Oh, yeah. I get a good spin on it. Where am I bringing it? Up the front? Down to Alfie's office, yeah.
I just meant a photo op, but okay.
Where's the knife? Oh, hang on.
You are the breakfast.
We can go for a cup of tea after.
Don't run.
That's my cardio for today.
Yeah.
Do you want it tight?
Perfect.
She's to get wrapped, doesn't she?
She does have to get wrapped, so I'll have to open my forklift
I
now.
have to get that thing, please.
And if you just pick up a little lever, you drop it.
And now you put. And then Alfie will bring me on the forklift.
I love this reward-based stuff though. He's like, if you do your signing,
I need to work on a reward-based system. It's the only way I can.
Me too, I love it.
Productivity. If I'm at home, I'll do that like with my lunch. I'll be like, right, if I get this done, lunch, or I'll go to the park for lunch or something.
So think about in the next half an hour if you want pizza or if you want...
There might be like handsome men in the...
I can guarantee there isn't any in the cafe
Are you
that
sure?
work there that's all women.
Yeah, but that might be like
Oh,
filled
sorry,
fellas.
yeah.
Because we're in like...
Oh, you love the bookshop tours? You want a warehouse, man, I think.
I think I do too.
Oh, that's fair.
I have to get it up on the plane. Do you know what gives
making
me
you check
anxiety?
your bags now.
Lifting my case above into the little cabin thing.
Exactly.
Because I'm too short.
Oh,
So I'm like, excuse me, can you put mine up there?
does anyone ever help you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, I'm so feeble.
I'm so small, I can't do it.
And then I'll be like, next minute, just drill or pull a power. Something so
Anyway, back to this.
Excuse me, could you put this on the thing for me? Yeah. I just can't get it. Watch out. I need beep beep.
Beep beep.
How do I keep? Oh yeah. Right.
It shouldn't be that, like...
This one feels heavier.
Yeah, it was 600 copies. It's 100 copy or more, yeah. Extra 100 copies on that.
Oh, I have to watch my speed. Cause
You know what you want to do? If you want to pull it back and actually pull it instead of pushing it, you can kind of... No, just go. Just like...
I can't damage them though. Keep her steady. Park next to the other one, yeah?
Yeah, straight in front of it.
The other one's already wrapped and everything, so... That one's very quick.
In here?
No, look, your other one, your 500 copies
Oh,
there.
yeah.
They're wrapped and ready to go. Just drop it. Drop in front of Alpha's stairs. He doesn't need to.
This one?
Yeah.
Oh, hang on. Let me get a string on it.
Beautiful.
Nice.
Oh, yeah.
Do your beep.
She's not on to be fishy. So the good news is all of the pre-orders are signed and there is a few extra left. I'm going to be back in the Eason's warehouse on Friday the 3rd of May, just before the bank holiday, when all of the orders are going to be start getting wrapped and packaged and posted. So in the warehouse, I signed 1,100 copies for Eason's. So there is still availability with the pre-order up until the 3rd of May. And then they'll be posted out. I also signed a shipment of 500 copies, and these are going to go to the overseas distributor, which is Casemate. Now, I have no control over where those 500 copies go, and they won't be available until July, but they will be for overseas. They are going to be for the likes of Barnes & Noble and some of the independent sellers. So they won't, or they shouldn't be going to the likes of Amazon. If they do, I've no kind of control over that. I can kind of control the signed copies in Ireland. But once that 500 is gone, that is it for overseas, because it takes about 8 weeks for it to ship over. So we won't be doing another run on overseas copies. So if you want to get your order first, before everybody else, you can order from Eason's. They ship internationally. Anyone who ordered from Eason's overseas with the first book reported back that they got it within a week, a little over a week for the likes of Australia and New Zealand. Otherwise, you will have to wait until July for international copies, and they won't be guaranteed signed because I have no control over where that 500 shipment goes to. I also signed 50 copies of the first book because there is no signed copies of the first book floating around anywhere. So I'm going to get a link. They will be from my publisher, O'Brien. They will come from their warehouse, and they also ship international. And again, once them 50 copies of the first book are gone, they're gone. So back to the garden and the jobs that I need to do. I cleared out one of the raised beds that was full of tulips. They did not last well this year. Not sure if it was a combination of the weather and I do have a raised bed with some other tulips. They're slightly later flowering ones, and that's looking nice. But this bed didn't last that long. So I cleared it of the tulips, and now I am getting mulch. And this is a job that I feel that I'm really behind on, because I love to mulch early March before all of the new growth starts to creep in. And as you can see, the side flower border is full to the brim of plants. I can barely get in to weed it, and it makes it quite hard to kind of get the mulch in. And I love putting on a thick layer of mulch, and everything looks cleaner with mulch. So I use a fine bark mulch, but these beds, if you saw my autumn videos, I use a lot of the leaves that fall as a kind of layer of mulch over winter. So they have all broken down nicely into the bed. So now I am putting on a nice thick layer of fine bark mulch. So my next job that I feel that I have been late to the party with is pruning the hydrangeas. Now what I will say is, because it has been a bit cold on the cooler side, it was a happy accident that I held off with pruning, especially the mop heads. So the likes of the hydrangea Annabelle and Pipinnatus, they grow on new wood, and I think they're a bit more hardy, so they're okay to prune back in kind of February time. You can prune them when you're doing your roses in February, but the mop heads, they grow on last year's wood, so you don't prune them back too hard. I'm just cutting above a leaf node underneath, where like I'm basically just kind of deadheading it back to a leaf node. And if you take the old flowers off too soon and we get a frost, then the frost can travel down the stem of the plant, because hydrangeas are just full of water. At least that's what I heard on Gardener's World. So it's probably a happy accident that I didn't prune them back, because the weather has been so unpredictable. But there has been loads of new growth and foliage, so I thought now is the perfect time to do it. Daytime temperatures are warming up and it's not too cold at night. Another thing that I do when I'm pruning is I cut back and cut away any of the really skinny stems, and if any stems are crossing. And again, that's just from watching Gardener's World, because I heard that if stems rub off each other, then that can be a way for disease to get in. Another thing that I need to do, and I didn't do in this video, is I need to start feeding the pots, so the hydrangeas that are in the pots, the two that you just saw me pruning, could probably do with a bit of refreshing, because I'd say they're in them pots about this would be their 3rd year, so they could do with having their compost refreshed. It is time to have a little walk around, because I feel like I have not done this in ages. So I don't know if you can see this bush down here. I think it's called a Zinnia. I don't think that's how to pronounce it. Zinnia. I'll try and spell it. But that's getting ready to blossom, and that is beautiful when it starts blossoming. Then I'm just going to zoom back. Hey, my camera cut out and I don't know where. So I'm sorry if I repeat myself. Daffodils, I deadheaded all of these. So these are gonna just look messy for a couple of weeks until they die back. Then all the lovely perennials. There is a self-seeded foxglove there. Roses. And then, I don't know if you can tell here. See these? These are the teasels that I did last year from seed. I didn't realise that they're actually a biennial, and already they're huge. Lots of growth happening this year. Got a little borage there. So the front is lovely packed. I can see some alliums as well. So, sorry, my legs. Down here, roses getting going. This all needs to be mulched. Then I have some potatoes. One bag has loads of foliage, and then the other one I have just started. This geum, I love these, is getting ready to flower. Lovely foliage on it. Have another one here that I did as a division, but you can probably tell. Let me zoom back. This area has become really shaded. So there's a couple of things here that are not performing as well as they would be if they were in sun. The daffodils that are here never flower. In the back is a Cynophophia. I think that's how you pronounce it. A division from my neighbour. And again, doesn't flower here because there's no sun. Well, there's a bit of sun, but not much. But the heuchers, they absolutely love it. And I have a little bleeding heart in there as well. Very, very pretty. When I look back at the border from this angle, I'm like, yes, looks very luscious and full. So I can't wait for it to kind of flower. Actually, there's 2 more teasels in there. There's teasels everywhere. So I need to rethink sweet pea, teat pea, because the teasels, oh, you guessed it, I have them here. But I'm just thinking this will be a lovely bit of height, and the birds are going to be all over the teasels. And I get loads of birds this side because you can see there's ivy as well. So more teasel. Then I've managed to mulch 2 of the beds. This has a couple of rogue daffodils. Wait for them to die off. And then the same in here. That's some rogue daffodils. These are some alliums. Already there's some dahlias in here that I overwintered, and there was signs of life. Amazing. I am very happy with that. In the greenhouse I have loads of, I have sunflower, claret and harlequin, which we will go in and check on, but these will be cut flowers, like summer ones. There's a couple of perennials in this one that are already starting. I can see the foliage, which is great. And this will be dahlias. And I probably need to, I think I might have lost one of them, but I suppose it might be a bit early for the foliage to be growing. There's like 3 of them so far growing in the bed. So this area is still a bit messy. I managed to clear out a load of wood and clutter that I had, so a lot of these pots just need to be potted on into nicer pots, moved to the front. Some of the plants I will actually be able to plant in a new border coming soon. I'll chat about that in a second. These giant Globemaster alliums I'm going to put out in the front, but yeah, trimmed back the hydrangeas, and I don't know if you can tell, but I did put some stuff in the grass to try and condition it, and grass seed, because this winter, the very wet winter and spring that we had, has just been awful to the grass. Summer grass just looks, yeah, not good. Already there is some aquilegia. Love seeing the aquilegia. So they're starting to flower. I think they're more of a May plant in my garden. They'll start to kind of open up, and great little self-seeders. So I've got the last of the tulips here. The weather has been, I don't know, not so kind to them. Just noticed as well that I have a head on this peony. It is still in its pot from last year, but it has a little flower bud on the top on it. And as always, the star of the show, I've forgotten the name. Jack Frost. What are you called? It is Jack Frost Brunneret. My favourite. Okay, so in the greenhouse, I do have 100% germination on these zinnias. Then these ones were a bit slow to get going. There's only one in that one. Then over here, oh, there's almost 100% on that. Well, no, we say 70% on that one. So I put the lid back on those ones. And then I have another, there's another one in here. That one's a bit slow. I have some cosmos in here and artichoke. So actually they're getting going. I'll leave the lid on for another little bit. Over here I have more cosmos, but I think this tray, there's one. There's literally one. Sweet peas are screaming to be planted outside, but I think I'm going to have to put them in the front, because I now need to come up with a solution for sweet pea teepees, because where I was going to put them, there is stuff. So those teasels, I need to come up with an idea for sweet pea teepee. Maybe out the front. There's some more cosmos. That was my March tray. That wasn't really successful. This is calendula. They are starting to get going. Things are much slower than what I expected. These are all my sunflowers, but I don't know, maybe someone has an idea. I know the self-seeders won't go over like this. See the way this one has gone on the wonk? So, does anyone have any idea why that has gone on the wonk? Yeah, little wonky. I think I have coffee marks on my face. Apologies. I'll probably have mud now on my face. Anyway, earlier today I had a man come out. It was actually the same guy who did the concrete base in this greenhouse, and he quoted me to do the raised beds that I wanted to do in the front garden, and I shook his hand and I did a deal. So he's coming on Monday. So I was saying, my regular viewers will know, last year I had gotten some sleepers and I wanted to do like a raised bed. There's a good bit of space in the front, so I wanted to do a double height raised bed, no dig, going this way and that way. And I just didn't get around to getting it done, and I ended up reusing those sleepers anyway for the side border, because the wood edge went rotten. Anyway, you would have seen that. And also my New Year's thing was to ask for help and to have more balance, and I'm like, maybe if I didn't have a book to promo, I would probably tackle the job myself. But honestly, the thought of having to shovel all the mud, I don't mind shoveling the mulch, but I was like, I want to see how much it would cost to pay someone to do it. Obviously things are expensive and materials and stuff, but I had asked around a few people, and then I was like, actually, I'll ask the chap who did my concrete base. And he was like, yeah, I can come one day. And I was like, really? I was expecting like a long wait. So I'll keep you posted with how the front is looking, but my goal is to have my front garden looking as nice as the back. Ish. Not that my back is looking amazing at the moment, but you know what I mean. I also want to make the front garden feel like another room, because I've said it in some of the home videos that in my living room, when I look out, I can see out onto like the road and my neighbours' houses. So it means that by having those raised beds, it's giving me height, and when it's all planted up, that's what I will see when I'm sitting in the living room. So when I look out, I won't see people in houses, I will just see plants. So I need to I've saved some of my favourite plants from when I visit places. I use the plant app to identify them, and I saved them. So I need to get a nice mix of evergreen and deciduous. I'll have to make sure I don't put loads of perennials in it. I need to make sure I have a bit of structure in places so I can kind of put those things where I want to block sightlines and stuff. So I'm getting better at planning instead of just being like, ooh, stick this here and stick this there. So that is all my news. I still have loads of other jobs. Like here, look. Here's the dahlias that I bought back in January and they are sitting in a bag. I think at this stage, normally I would put these in a pot to get them started. But at this stage, I think I'll just stick them in the ground because yeah, I think I'll just directly put them into the ground. Maybe after like May bank holiday. Yeah, I think I will. Because where they're going will be either in a pot or a raised bed. Actually, I could hang on to them and put them in the new raised bed. Anyway, yeah, if you're feeling a bit behind as well, I got you. I think a lot of us have been feeling that way because the weather, UK and Ireland anyway, I can speak for us, has been not as fun as other March and Aprils. So I feel like it's been slower to get started this year. But sure, look, lots of greenery. The trees have their leaves, they're after erupting. So yeah, the season can officially begin now. Anyway, I'll see you in the next one. If you're new to gardening or if you're new to my channel, I promise I have much prettier garden videos over on the Cottage Garden playlist. I also have a video that I put together back in January just sharing my journey. So if you want to see some of my DIY projects that I've done in the garden, I'll pop a card and I will link to that video in the description as well, where you can check it out. And there's also loads more videos, so if you want to see what I got up to in the garden last season, check out the Cottage Garden playlist and you can watch them in order. Or if you would like to binge videos ad-free, why not become a member and you can watch all of the channel's videos on the member playlist ad-free.